Hello. Making another one today. Actually, had a quiet time. Everybody went to school. Yesterday, everybody didn't go to school. I still managed to make a video, so. Anyway, I'm gonna talk about a little bit of a more serious subject today. Decided to go with my frustrations with trying to get help with counselors and psychiatry. And, I've never successfully found, like, a good doctor or a good counselor. I pretty much quit trying to find someone. Just for the simple fact that they try to put you in a very basic box. The DSM-5, they try to categorize you on their list of symptoms and disorders and this and that to try to put you in a box. And people don't fit in a box. I don't fit in a box. And I looked at it, I study things. If I want to know something, I hyper-focus on it. And I will study it out. I've always done that. And when I look at it, and when I look what they're trying to base me on, there's a few they keep taking me back to the same boxes. And there's four basic things three, they keep trying to tell me, I already know I have anxiety, for example. I've known that. That's what I originally went for, was for panic attacks. Started having panic attacks around 2010, probably. That was when I was married. And I know why I started having panic attacks. It was a rough marriage. Probably not going to tell a story today. That's a whole story in itself. But the symptoms or the categories for a lot of different disorders are all the same. So I went for anxiety, right? And the first thing they try to do is put you on antidepressants, because that makes sense. To me, that doesn't make sense. I'm not depressed. I'm not the depressed type. I've always been up, energized. I don't quit. I don't sleep much. I don't cry. I don't sit in bed all day. And there's nothing against people that do. That's a serious problem, of course. But me, knowing myself, I didn't feel like I needed those. But they told me, sometimes antidepressants work for anxiety. And I'd never went to anyone before, so, open-minded, I tried it. Well, the thing about those kind of meds, some people have a very bad reaction to those meds. And I did. I had what they called an adverse reaction or an opposite reaction. And it sent me on an adventure. Sent me through the roof. I didn't sleep for days. Started me off on Zoloft. Within a month, I had been not sleeping. I quit my job. I got in a fight and then got my nose broke. Yeah, didn't work out. So they said, let's try another one. And let's give you Buspartoo. So that's our serotonin boosters. Okay. And serotonin is what, essentially my understanding, that is what boosts your brain activity. And if you're depressed, you're down and you need a boost. It's a mood booster. It boosts you up and boosts your brain activity. But if you don't have that problem, it's going to send your mood and your brain activity up too high. And there is a thing called serotonin syndrome, which I didn't get diagnosed that, but they said I went into a manic episode. I might have. See, I don't really know. ended up running off to Indiana with a man that I had met, sort of. I went to meet him. He told me he was a fireman and had a house. His Facebook checked out, you know. So I went out there. He didn't have a house. I ran out of gas. I ended up in Indianapolis at the square for about 2 weeks till I could get home. Couldn't get away from him, really. And he got arrested because he apparently had some kind of theft auto charge warrant. So I can't take antidepressants. I had way too much serotonin. I ended up going to the hospital and had to give me a shot of Ativan in my ass, which normally would make somebody feel pretty good, but it just brought me down to baseline. I mean, I was sitting, I got home. I was staying at my parents at the time because I had, I mostly, since I was 18, had been out on my own. But I had went through a lot. And for a couple years, I did go back and stay home with my parents after some things I went through, which, again, is another video. I've had a few traumas in my life that we can discuss later, which is where PTSD comes in, which is another subject, and like I said, will be another video. But long story short, I told my mom and dad, like, I need to go to the hospital. I don't feel right. My legs were shaking, my teeth were chattering, like I was so wound up. I came home and I didn't sleep for 48 hours straight, and I'm like, like I can't even explain it to you. It was the most horrible feeling. So then they said, you're bipolar, because if you can't take these meds, you must be bipolar. Now, that's the way they're trained, because everyone must be able to take antidepressants, even though you're not depressed. And if you can't, you must be bipolar. That's the way that the doctors are trained to think. I disagree. And I disagree for this reason. Too much serotonin is bad. It's, you mess with chemicals in people's brains. That's messing with their lives and how they think. That's a serious responsibility. And counselors I believe counselors are good. If they actually take the time to get to know someone and their background, they can, deal with the doctor on your behalf. And that's good. But I had meds after the first time. I met the counselor once, and then I went straight to the doctor, and they gave me something, and I went out the door. Nobody looked into my history, But with the bipolar, usually there's usually bipolar 1 and 2 is most common, right? And I believe bipolar 1 is, I'm not even going to say because I'm not fluent, okay? But one version of bipolar is marked by more depression episodes, and the other is marked by more manic episodes, okay? Now, I don't have depressive episodes. If anything, I could possibly see going into like hypomania, which is like light mania, back to normal. Like a little bit manic, back to normal. But I don't go from one extreme to the other. I never went on no adventure like I did on those meds. And I never tried to pick a fight with a 6-foot gothic chick and get my nose broke. I never ran off to Indiana and lived on the streets. That never happened to me before in my life. And, I've had my times. I've done some stuff, especially when I was a teenager. But as soon as I had kids, I'm like, time to settle down, baby girl. And I did. It doesn't fit. I don't think it fits. I don't see it. And But they put me in this box, so then they go with lithium, and I'm like a zombie. And then they went with Seroquel, and I was like a raging bitch. And then I'm like, you know, just about to be like, screw you guys. And they tried to vilify. Basically, does the same thing. It's got the serotonin again. I took it for about a week or two, seeing the same thing about to happen again. I just cut myself off completely. I'm not taking this. I went to the hospital, told them I can't take stuff with serotonin. They tricked me, because I look it up now before I take it. I can't afford to just run off and ruin my life. I have children. Excuse me. I'm not running off to Indiana with some you know. I'm not going to do that just because I had been to a totally different doctor's office at this point when they did the Abilify. I'm like, if I go on some kind of drug-induced, I don't know what, with my children, you know, or without them, or God knows what, I can't afford to do that. I'm not going to do that. I may not be happy, as far as I may struggle functioning the way I am, but I function the way I am. Just because I have panic attacks and I don't sleep. And I have sometimes hard to live with. I function this way. And I'm better off functioning this way than doing whatever would happen if they give me something crazy, you know. Which is why, you know, I ended up sticking with the bus bar by itself. I can handle that by itself. That's all I take. But I wanted to point out how they keep trying to put me in these basic boxes, and they probably do this to a lot of people. Like, oh, you're depressed. Oh, you have anxiety. Oh, you have bipolar. You know how many people I know, they just tell everybody they're bipolar. They just tell everybody they're depressed and they have anxiety. And I'm not discrediting you if you're truly depressed. It's a serious problem, and I'm not disregarding that, because it, you know, sometimes you really need help, and you need to address it if you feel depressed, and you don't need to let that get too far. But my combination of problems is, I wrote it down, okay? And for some reason, my camera cuts off at like 16 minutes, so if it happens to do that, there's going to be like a weird break where I'm going to have to clip this video together again, so just so you know. But my handwriting's terrible. Okay. Anxiety. I can't read this like this. This is going to be difficult. All right. Restlessness, difficulty concentrating, fatigue, trouble sleeping, easily startled, irritability. Okay? Just some basic list. This is not a comprehensive list. I'm not a doctor. Just to give you the general rundown, okay? PTSD. Now, I have also been diagnosed this, and I know I probably have this because I've been through a lot, and it makes sense. Easily startled. Pretty much the same as on edge, isn't it? Always on guard. Pretty much the same thing again. Self-destructive behavior. Trouble concentrating. Irritability. Irritability, again, same as up here, okay? Guilt or shame, that depends on the situation, really. You know, depends on what happened to you. Bipolar disorder. On edge. Restless and on edge. Okay. High energy. Irritability. Again. Over self-confidence. No, I have that. Little need for sleep. Okay. Which is like trouble sleeping. Pretty much. Only you're not tired because you can't sleep. You just don't sleep. Racing thoughts. Trouble concentrating. I thought that one was over here somewhere. Yeah, trouble concentrating and PTSD too. Alright. Poor decision making, like self-destructive, i.e. self-destructive behavior. Okay. Now, this is something I've considered. which no doctor is willing to consider because I'm almost 30 years old. But they don't look into my background. Being homeschooled, okay? Normally this is something you would catch in childhood. Which, you know, I didn't start school until middle school, so just follow me here. ADHD. Adult ADHD. I didn't do childhood ADHD. I did adult ADHD, okay? Impulsiveness. Disorganization. Poor time management. Problem focusing, which is like, where'd it go? Difficulty concentrating. And anxiety. It's the same thing. Okay. Frequent mood swings, like bipolar, for example. Okay. What else? Problems completing tasks. I have trouble completing tasks. Irritability, again. All of them have irritability. All of them. Trouble coping with stress. That's like, really? And then, okay, flashbacks and nightmares. So, I put check marks, which it's, like I said, guaranteed to be hard to see here. And my handwriting's terrible, but see how they all kind of correlate together here? ADHD, PTSD, anxiety, bipolar. I put mania. This is just for mania. I didn't put the depressed on here because it doesn't relate to what I'm saying. Okay. Now, this is what I have. Although I forgot one, and I forget what it was now. Completing tasks. Yeah, I can't. Or like, say I've got 3 to 5 kids in my house and there's a lot of chaos. I can only focus on one thing. And if I'm trying to do multiple things in chaos, it gives me a lot of stress. And then I can have a panic attack. Okay? Which, if you look into adult ADHD, for example, that's very common. Like trying to focus in chaos. Which anybody, if they had 5 kids at their house, let me tell you, it's like, pull your hair out. But still, it's one of the things. So anyway, you know, I'm on edge, poor concentration, little need for sleep. Like last night, I went to sleep at 5. I got up at 7:30. Right now, I'm going to say it's almost 11 a.m. I can't see with the camera on. It's almost 11 a.m. I'm probably going to be up all day and turn around and be up till 3 or 4 in the morning again. I do this all the time. So I got dark circles. But I don't really, I mean, I could do this for a week straight. I used to work 3rd shift, and in fact, at one point, I worked a 3rd shift stocking at Walmart and a 1st shift unloading trucks at Myers at the same time. I can just go, you know. I was off from like 7, got the kids to school and daycare, took like an hour and a half, 2-hour nap, turned around, went into Myers at 10, I worked till 5, got off, got the kids from daycare, fed them dinner, got them to bed at 8, took like an hour nap, went to work at 10. Legit. When I used to work. Anyways, now I'm not working. Yeah. But yeah, it's just the stuff I have, it's all mixed up. On edge, poor concentration, little need for sleep, irritable, angry outburst, by the way. And it's just when I'm stressed out, it's like that fight or flight kicks in. And if I don't get angry, I'm going to have a panic attack and cry. I have to just like, my mind chooses one, and I'd rather get pissed off than have a panic attack at that moment. And I basically just choose angry. I think that's what my mind started to do. It chooses to get angry. Self-destructive behavior. Now, I don't do that a lot, but like, you know, I have this shoplifting thing, and it's not because I'm just like, my camera cut out and he was gonna do it. I'm running out of space. But yeah, I don't know. I'm probably gonna cut this off here soon anyway. It's getting long. But the shoplifting thing, it's not because it's like a thrill or anything. I don't enjoy it. So I don't know if it really counts. It's just, my kids need stuff. and I'm really broke. You know, I lost my license for like 3 years because I keep driving without insurance. And I got in a wreck when I first got to this town that I'm in. And anyway, I'm having to walk. I was walking into school and back because my youngest is only 5. And between walking a mile and back 2 times a day, that's 4 miles. And only getting child support in this income apartment I'm in. You know, I'm living on $400 a month, and I haven't got that in 30 days. So I think I'm supposed to get it back, but long story short, if my kids need medicine or a pair of socks or something, a pair of gloves, and I've only got food stamps, my kids are going to get what they need to get, period. And if it's a risk, it's a risk, and, I'll do what I gotta do. But, so, is that high-risk behavior? Probably.